Hello, my friends, and welcome to my segment of ColorArte's Autumn Splendor event. Be sure to watch all the affiliate videos to both see some terrific projects as well as to catch a secret word which you will put together to form a phrase, and that will make you eligible for either a channel prize or the grand prize of $400 worth of ColorArte products. Details below in the description box. This is my finished piece, not yet varnished. I wasn't able to complete it all on video, but I'm going to speed up the creation and do a voiceover, so I'll have time at the end to explain what I did off camera. Thanks so much for being here, and now let's get to the creation. I'm going to be doing a flip cup today. I have Poinsettia, Saffron, Baltic Amber, Mayan Gold, and Rich Auburn. I'm pouring them up from a distance because I want a nice blend of color. I don't want rings or any distinctive lines in here. So I'm letting them flow into one another in the cup. And here we go. Tilting it around to get coverage all over. I noticed a few little lumps, so I'm going to fish those out. And then I decided I really wanted more of a melted together look, so I hit it with a hairdryer to really get a lovely blend and some nice movement in there. And I think it worked. So now I will let that dry thoroughly, and then I shall return for step 2. Okay, the piece has dried thoroughly. I had changed up my recipe somewhat, and it dried with a little bit of texture to it, but that's okay because leaves have texture, so I'm not bothered by that. I taped the edges because I want them to stay looking like this, because I'm now going to spray paint the negative space area. Now I made a stencil out of notebook plastic divider. Real easy to cut a stencil out of this. If you're interested in seeing a video on how to make a stencil, I'm happy to do that. It's super easy. But in this case, I want my leaf to be these colors, so I'm going to be using the insert, the part I cut out, as my stencil. And I'm placing it at an angle on here and kind of off center because I want room for a nice stem there. So I'm going to be using water-based spray paint. You can use it indoors. I do have my window open for ventilation. I would normally do it outdoors, but I'm not going to make this video outside. So here we go. I'm using black, raw sienna, and Naples yellow. And I think I'm going to start with the black. You can adhere this down, but I'm just going to take my chances and not. So here we go. Cross your fingers. I don't mind if even some of the background shows through. All right. And now the Naples yellow. I had shaken these up already well, but just spritz in there. And no, that was a raw sienna. Now the Naples yellow. Just a little bit of this. Come on. Oops. Ooh, this one. Oh, that's kind of fun. It's not what I expected, but maybe it's defective. Or I didn't clean the nozzle last time I used it. But I think that's okay. All right, we're going to let that dry thoroughly, and then I'll return and we'll do some brush work. Okay, it's thoroughly dry. Now it's time to lift the stencil, and voila, we have a leaf shape. I wanted to see how the sides looked compared to the spray painted top, and I thought that looked good. It almost framed the piece, so that was good. And now let's add some vein lines. I'm using Artist Loft Vermillion and Yellow Ochre. The Vermillion is a transparent color. The Yellow Ochre is opaque. So by combining the two of them, I should be able to get some vein lines that show up. I'm using a script brush, a long, skinny liner type brush. And my paint is an inky consistency, I would say. Add quite a bit of water to it because I want my lines to be fairly thin. Always turn your work so it's comfortable for you to work. And the vein lines all emanate from the base of the leaf to those 5 sections of the leaf. So I'm going to now paint vein lines. And I realized it wasn't light enough. It was too much the same value as the leaf there. So I added some yellow medium to the mix, and that helped. I just wanted a lighter value of the leaf. I didn't want it to be too yellow. I don't want it to be cartoon looking. I want them subtle, but they have to be seen. So that was better. It's difficult to see there, but you'll see on the next stroke. I think I added a little more yellow. That's better. Now, if you're uncomfortable freehanding the veins, you can always chalk them in, then paint over your chalk lines. Or use transfer paper and trace them on. But if your paint is of an inky consistency and you load up your brush well, it's not terribly hard to do, and you can make the lines in one nice stroke. There we go. So those are the main vein lines, and now each of those veins have veins coming off of them to the secondary points of each section. So that's what I'm adding here. You don't need to load up your brush as frequently on these shorter ones. I suggest you look at a real leaf or a reference photo to kind of get familiar with the placement and the spacing of the vein lines. You want it to look as natural as possible. They're kind of staggered. They don't come out the same side, the same point on either side of the vein. Well, some do. The ones closer to the base do, but as it goes up, they are staggered. All right, I decided not to do any more vein lines because it was the same old procedure. But now I'm going to add some shading. I've taken some deep crimson from the Prizm Pour Ultra Metallics, and I've side-loaded the brush, meaning I've just added paint on one half of the brush, and I'm going to shade in between these vein lines. So by starting with the side that, the edge that has the paint on it, and kind of walking it out, it makes a nice blend. And you can see that it has defined and added dimension to the leaf. And it makes those veins really pop. You can see them much better now. And I would do that throughout the whole leaf, but now I'm going to add a stem line. So again, loading up the brush really well and trying to make a nice, graceful, curved line, pressing down the pressure on the brush as I go to make it a little thicker towards the end. The portion of the stem that would be attached to the branch would be thicker. I was having a little trouble on the spray painted part. It kind of was soaking up the paint. I decided to add a little bit of the deep crimson as shading there on the stem, and also added a little bit of sparkle to it. Okay, and that was it for the demo portion of the painting. Now I will stop here, and then I will tack on the end a little bit more to show you a close-up and talk a bit more about what I did after filming. So as promised, here's a final look at the finished painting. Again, I have not yet varnished it. I'm looking forward to doing that because these Prizm Pour Metallics will really come to life then. But I'm quite pleased with this project. I continued to shade in areas of the veins in the same manner I painted this area, and I actually darkened this a bit. And then I added some gold, some Mayan gold here and there for highlights. And then to really finish it off and make it look more realistic and as if the leaf was actually resting on this canvas, I side-loaded my brush in the same manner as this area and just ran some black around the edges of this half of the leaf only. And I think that really added an extra dimension to it, which I'm very pleased with. So I hope you enjoyed this project. It was a lot of fun to do, and I thank you for watching. And now it's time to head over to the next affiliates video, Arisa Roo. See you there.